Let's talk about enabling and disabling beliefs, self-reliance, and the placebo effect. Today's background music is by Stretch the Songwriter. In Episode 11, Deterministic Agency, I went over how the belief in free will, despite being false, has a liberating effect on human behavior. I want to extend that idea over to other territory. The placebo effect of beliefs seems to have a good crossover with the concept of internal versus external locus of control, how people who believe they have control tend to be less hindered by obstacles, while those giving greater credit to forces out of their hands lose momentum and accept defeat more easily. Some people, apparently immune to irony, bend over for fate in order to protect their self-esteem, so that they don't have to feel responsible or ashamed of themselves. And modern American culture, terrified of a little natural selection, encourages this constantly. It's not your fault. Stuff happens, you can't control everything. But there's another avenue by which the sense of inner control is lost, and it is, sadly enough, through an increase in awareness and reasoning. The more you understand of the relevant chains of causality, and the more attention you pay them, the tighter hold they have upon your limbs. We should acknowledge the possibility that all the self-tracking, hacking, and optimizing might diminish self-reliance and make us mentally delicate. Lack of sleep negatively impacts performance, without a doubt, but a precise awareness of how much you missed last night and an estimation of the damage to cognitive optimality could easily add to that negative impact. The person fretting over every detail of their diet will be derailed by an ice cream cone more than their twin who didn't put it on the food scale and log the macros in their notebook. It's great to have guide rails that try to keep you on the path of peak performance, but it's easy to start believing that stuff's necessary and predicting you'll be less capable every single time you color outside the lines. Until they become self-fulfilling prophecies, these little pieces, although legitimately part of the puzzle, really have only a marginal impact. They will not make or break you unless you cede authority to them. Some ideas are paralyzing, others are empowering. The great men theory of history was itself a major reason individuals were capable of doing great things. A person reads historic biographies, accepts that these single individuals swayed the course of history, and thereby acquires the confidence to take a bold, outsized action. There's ever more violent reaction against such ideas, sometimes out of a greater intellectual honesty, like the kind that admits Earth isn't the center of the universe, sometimes out of a sense of moral duty to prevent the next Hitler or Mao, and sometimes out of bitterness, like when failed authors need to convince the world that Shakespeare couldn't have been a real person, that only a group of people could compose such talented works. We know now from television that the creative vision of a single brilliant mind, given full reign of their own project, towers over most anything written by committee. Having too many cooks spoils the broth, usually by watering it down into something bland and generic, too averaged out to convey any unique spice of personality. Suppose, however, the Shakespeare conspiracy is true, and that a group of writers published superior works, deceptively, under a single name. How much more inspiring for those deceived, to be given a higher standard for one writer to attain? It makes one wonder if such a thing might be done precisely to raise the bar of human potential, by attempting to instill in the public mind a more impressive possibility than previously estimable. Before 1954, it was thought that running a 4-minute mile was impossible for the human body. After Roger Bannister hit 3:54 that year, John Landy broke it a couple months later, and the very next year, 3 other runners broke it in the same race. Since then, more than 1,400 men have gone sub-4. Using Henry Ford's quote for the 1,000th time, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. What other enabling or disabling ideas can you think of? Email them to psychiclube@gmail.com or start a discussion in the comments. Let's see where we can take this. Hey guys, quick note before I go. I know some of these podcast topics are a little goofy, so if you like the way I think, but you really want to take advantage of the best of what my brain has to offer, look up my books on Amazon or Audible. My first book, Augmenting Willpower, is a field manual for human psychology that emphasizes personal accountability, while my second book, An Idea is Not a Product, is a guide for building routines and systems that force you to put your money where your mouth is. Both titles are available in all formats, so you can listen to the audio on the go, easily search topics by keyword in the ebook, and the paperback fits right in your pocket.